Good morning, my name is Kulamo, Bullo Ikimire, CEC member for Tourism, Culture, Gender and Social Services, County Government of Marsabit. Today, we are delighted to launch two policies at a go. We are launching gender policy and social protection policy. I know it has taken us a while to be able to put together because a policy is just not a simple document, but that in that journey, we have focused on our goal. And our goal is to put together a policy that represents the gaps that we have identified in our county in terms of the focus and energies towards understanding what gender issues are, because they are cross-cutting issues, and also towards understanding what issues are at stake in terms of securing the livelihoods of our communities. And those livelihoods are through the pillars, universal health care, making sure that our communities are living a dignified life, because we know we are pastoralists, and primary of them is how we look at gender. We will want to clarify that gender is just not women, but that when we are looking at gender, we are wearing the lens of looking at how a boy, a girl, a woman, a man, a person with disability, whether it is male or female, how they are visualized within the community, how those roles really identify how the position of that individual, the opportunities that they get in the community, the access to some of the resources that they have in terms of making, a contribution towards their family. Because when a decision has to be made, a decision has to be made by a man in these communities. But if that decision does not have the synergy of a woman in that family, for instance, we could be making a decision in terms of which child should go to school, because we know that going to school or education is a right to every child. But to a pastoralist community, those rights also have to be looked at in terms of how many of those children are available to look after the animals. How many then should I be able to take to school? Of the ones that I take to school, is it a girl or a boy? Because a boy carries the name of the family. So that investment is viewed as long-term investment, whereas an investment towards education for a girl is viewed as an investment towards the family that the girl is going to move into when she gets married. So those dynamics have to be brought out in the policy for us to say that we would like to see a community that is responsive, that is able to look at the opportunities that they are giving to their children, opportunities that they are giving to men and women, and that those opportunities are equitable.
Just the one last thing, how will it change also the dynamic of FGM? The cases are still being reported.
Thank you very much. The gender policy basically is not a GBV policy, because those are different subsets of what the gender policy should be able to address. However, the policy will then help us to develop programs that address issues of concern within the community. And some of the issues of concerns are issues of FGM. We know that FGM is very rampant in these communities, but there is a law that has banned FGM practice in Kenya. And there is also the presidential decree that by 2022, we should be free from FGM. So taking into consideration all this is that we are able now to look at it and say, what approaches do we put in place? So after launching this policy, we'll still have to do planning to be able to say that these are the programs that will support us towards FGM minimizing, because there are alternative approaches that communities are also now doing. There are issues of initiation that these communities must be prepared, that they don't have to get the cut as it is, but that a girl can grow, or a boy, just the same way the boys have been having the systems in place. It's not been an issue really, but for the girls, that helping them and supporting them, for the communities to accept that that initiation process is as good as preparing them for the life ahead, because even the cut initially was seen as a process of preparing. However, we know that the cut is harmful to the girls, and of course also for her future and the family as a whole. because that is where a lot of obstructions of at the point of childbirth happens. So it puts fistulas, cases of fistulas are on the rise because of FGM practices. So ours is to make sure that we have a legislation, we have a policy in place, and this policy then will guide us in terms of putting in place priority programs towards FGM, towards GBV, towards just actually even having in positions and decision-making positions men and women who have who can make decisions for the community because they have earned those positions and that they qualify to be in those positions.